I saw this video when I was scrolling on Instagram, ironically, and it was a video of Jordan Peterson talking about what somebody should do in their 20s. The person who asked him the question was his daughter, I'm pretty sure. And I think she asked what a young man should do in his 20s. So, I guess the question was kind of slated towards men, but I think it can be the same for everybody, basically. And he said that people should make a plan. Look at what you're interested in, get disciplined about something. Allow for the possibility that you have something important to contribute to the world and that the world would be a lesser place without it. Don't be afraid of taking on responsibility. Responsibility is where you find what sustains you. And it just got me thinking where was this guy when I was 20 or 21? Oh yeah, he was still dropping knowledge, like this, but I didn't care to receive knowledge like this. That was my problem. I always heard that, your 20s is where you build something like a career or your business or, whatever you want to build. And that it gets harder to do things like that in your 30s because of responsibilities. Like, say you get married and you have kids and, you have a mortgage and stuff like that. Personally, I feel like I wasted my early 20s, like when I was 20, 21, 22, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't go to school. I basically just wasted those 3 years. Anyway, my wish for this video is that everybody does something that they're interested in. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go get a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life, because personally I think that's a little bit of bullshit, because every job has things that people don't like, right? If you're a basketball player, I'm pretty sure you won't like having to work out 3 times a day, or maybe you do, right? I'm pretty sure most basketball players don't like the fact that, say you have a game in Miami, and then you're playing in California 2 days from now, and the time zone change will mess up your sleep, or their sleep schedule is probably a bit messed up to begin with, or maybe they didn't get as much rest as they wanted. Or say you make paper airplanes on Etsy, right? You might love the process of selecting the right paper or, folding the planes themselves, but when it comes to shipping them, that's the death of you. You'd rather do anything else in the world versus pack the plane, print out the label, things like that. But I hope for everyone to be able to find something that they like, something that brings you joy, something that makes the hours seem like minutes, something that you love, something that, you can't explain your love for. The next thing that Jordan Peterson said was that you should get disciplined about something. And I think he was talking about actually executing on the plan that you came up with, previously. But I also think he meant getting disciplined about something else, like eating healthy or, getting exercise, like going for a bike ride or a run or stuff like that. Because those things will either help you in the long term or build habits, or maybe even both. I resonated pretty heavily with this one when he said, allow for the possibility that you have something important to contribute to the world and that the world would be a lesser place without it. Like I said before, I don't think my videos are going to change the world, or that the world is going to be a better place because I make videos. And to be fair, maybe I'm underselling my videos, but I don't think they're the best by any stretch of the imagination. But I think I do come up with some really good ideas, like the one I talked about in my politics one, which you can watch up here. But I do think that these videos are something important that I contribute to the world. I remember watching this video when Matthew McConaughey won an Oscar, and he said in his Oscar speech that his hero is himself in 10 years. He's never gonna catch his hero, but it gives him something to chase, I guess you could say. I don't have anything to chase, but maybe if I did, I'll be in a better spot than I am right now. Who knows? See, here's the thing. I know that these videos might not get as much traction now, but I know that they'll be, like a movie that's underappreciated in 10 years. I remember going with my friends to watch Interstellar on the night that it came out. November 7th, 2014, I'll never forget the date. And that was when I watched the movie for the first time. I was confused, like most people are when they watch Christopher Nolan movies, but I remember it being forgettable. And it was just another science fiction film like The Martian or I, Robot or Snowpiercer. It wasn't until years later that, I can't remember exactly when, but I remember I watched it, and I watched it again, and I watched it again, and then I slowly developed this love for the movie, and now it's in my top 5 movies of all time. I just have a little feeling that these videos are gonna be like that. I'm basically doing the opposite of what Matthew McConaughey is doing. I'm making these videos to look back on in 10 years. Mark the date. If YouTube is still around in 2031, I'll be here commenting on this video saying how I was right. Actually, for the record, I actually wish, or I hope that that's gonna be true. I'm making these videos for me to look back on what I was doing in 2021, what I was talking about, how many bags I had under my eyes, how many wrinkles I had on my forehead, how many gray hairs I had, and stuff like that. Jordan Peterson also said not to be afraid to take on responsibility. And I made a whole video about that, which you can watch up here, so I don't have to repeat myself. So finish this video and then go watch that one, because Lord knows I need watch time on YouTube. Anyway, I remember seeing this clip of Judge Judy, funnily enough, and I could never figure out if that show was like fake or real. I'm pretty sure it was fake, but they made it seem so real. Anyway, she was talking at this conference and she said, if you don't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. If you don't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. If you don't make it in your 40s, you can make it in your 50s. And then if not then your 60s. And she kept going on and on until she got to like 80. And then she said there was this lady named Grandma Moses, apparently. I've never heard of her until I heard of her name in that clip. And she was 78 years old. And that was when she started painting. That right there goes to show that age is just a number when starting a career or a new endeavor. But I can't help but think what I could have done before all that. And let me explain what I mean, because that sounded kind of confusing. So I started making videos when I was 23. That was almost 2 years ago. This November makes it 2 years. But like my brain always thinks like, well, what if I started when I was 21? What if I started when I was 19? Obviously, there's no way to know what would have happened unless when we die, we could somehow go into this alternate timeline, like in the Spider-Man trailer, which was crazy, by the way. Like, that's always my problem with things. Like, if I start something and then I think, oh, what if I started it earlier? That's always my problem. Like, I would start shooting B-roll, for example, and say I start at 8 in the morning. At 8:30, when I'm really into it, this thought would just creep into my mind, right? I'm going through my shot list and things like that, and I'd ask myself, what if I started at 7 or 7:30? And then I calculate how much time or how many shots I got between 8 and 8:30, and then I calculate how much time I would have saved if I started it earlier. But then I'm wasting my time by calculating time. And then the next thing you know, I'm watching some YouTube video on how to make paper airplanes, and then I wasted even more time. That's the problem that I have. So what's the point of this whole video? Well, besides telling you that you should get disciplined and make a plan, I think the third thing is very important with what Jordan Peterson says, because when you actually think about it, take all the major companies in the world today. Apple made computers and phones, and those were very important contributions to the world. Microsoft made computers, which were also important to the world. Elon Musk created SpaceX, which is going to take humans to other worlds, so his contribution was important to multiple worlds, not just one. And before I go any further, I just want to say that you don't have to create things like phones or computers. It could be you writing a book, like Jordan Peterson or Gary Vee or anybody. And even then, it doesn't have to be books people read. Maybe it could be paper airplanes that kids play and have fun with. Or maybe it can be videos like this one that hopefully bring people some value. And as always, thanks for watching.